Church's distinction between artificial birth control and natural birth control makes no sense. Does this mean using polyester is immoral too? Dr. Christopher West here, the Theology of the Body guy. Let's take a look. Hey, if you're new to this channel, we are all about demonstrating how our earthly bodies reveal heavenly divine mysteries. If you want help coming out of the confusion in the modern world about what it means to be male and female, you're going to want to subscribe to this channel. Click the notification bell, leave a comment, share these videos with others. All of that compels YouTube to get this message out to a very confused world. So we're continuing our series looking at the book Good News About Sex and Marriage, Answers to Your Honest Questions About Catholic Teaching. We're in the chapter on contraception, and we're looking at this question. The Church's distinction between natural and artificial birth control makes no sense. Does this mean using polyester is immoral too? Here's how I respond. Admittedly, it's difficult to see the important distinction between periodic abstinence, that's what we're talking about when we talk about natural family planning. We're talking about coming to know a woman's cycle, when she's fertile and when she's infertile. And with modern methods of fertility awareness, a woman can know with 98 to 99% accuracy when she's fertile, when she's infertile. Any woman can use it. It's not the old-fashioned rhythm method, which was based on kind of a calendar guess as to when you would be fertile or infertile. No, scientifically observable information in each cycle can help a woman to know with almost certainty, 98 to 99%, when she's fertile, when she's infertile. Armed with that, if it's the fertile time, you abstain from that act, which leads to children. If it's the infertile time, feel free to engage. That's the way God made the woman's body, and we can rejoice in that. But when we frame this in terms of a difference between natural and artificial methods, it makes it sound like the Church is opposed to anything that's artificial, like polyester. But contrary to popular belief, very important, the Church does not oppose artificial birth control because it's artificial. She opposes it because it's contraceptive. So let's define contraception. Contraception is the choice to engage in an act of intercourse, but then do something else to render that act sterile. Contra, against, conception, right? To be contraceptive, you have to be engaged in the act that leads to conception, but doing something contra, doing something against it, right? Natural family planning is acceptable, not because it's natural as opposed to artificial, but because it is not contraceptive. Never, ever, when a couple uses natural family planning, do they engage in an act of intercourse and then render it sterile. Rather, they refrain from those acts of intercourse that might lead to children. This is very different. It's the difference, as I said in the last video, between telling a lie and remaining silent. Or as I said in a different video, when the objection comes up, oh, come on, what's the big difference between sterilizing the act yourself and just waiting till it's naturally infertile? I respond, what's the big difference, come on, between killing grandma and just waiting till she dies naturally, right? If you can tell the difference between euthanasia and natural death, you can tell the difference between contraception and natural family planning. Well, let's keep going here. It's true that one can contracept using artificial devices, hormones, or sterilizing surgical procedures, all of which are artificial. But again, it's not because they're artificial, it's because they're contraceptive that is the problem. Here's another point. You can also engage in an act of contraceptive intercourse without using anything, quote, artificial. It's the old-fashioned method of coitus interruptus, or withdraw, when the man spills his seed. So in order to avoid a great deal of confusion, contraception is the best word to use when describing what the Church specifically opposes. artificial really has nothing to do with it and only muddies the waters. So in my opinion, we should drop the word artificial and not focus the distinction on artificial versus natural, but rather on contraceptive versus non-contraceptive. Again, the Catholic Church accepts natural family planning not because it's natural as opposed to artificial, but because it is not contraceptive. It is a holistic way of planning a family that fully embraces God's design for sex as something very good. You know, why do we say in our world things like this? I got pregnant by accident. Not that I got pregnant. I can't get pregnant. I'm a man. But a woman might say, I got pregnant by accident. To which I want to respond, were you having sex? Well, yeah, but the condom broke, or I forgot to take my pill. We are now in the habit of blaming pregnancy on failed contraception, rather than on recognizing that pregnancy is the result of the fact that we engaged in the act that leads to pregnancy, sexual intercourse. As Dr. Janet Smith is fond of saying, if you had sex and you got pregnant, it does not mean something went wrong. It means something went beautifully right. Dream with me for a moment. What would the world look like if men and women honored the fact that sex leads to babies instead of trying to fight it? What would the world look like if our sexual choices and decisions and activities were guided by respect for the beautiful, wonderful truth that sex leads to babies? We might just build a culture of love and a culture of life. Lord, show us who we are. Open our eyes to who we really are. I have so much more to share with you, my brothers and sisters, about who we really are as men and women made in the image and likeness of God. Check out the links below to discover ongoing formation that is exclusive to our patron community. And check out the link below on the online and in-person courses that we offer at the Theology of the Body Institute. Until next time, may we rediscover more deeply who we really are.